It's a miserable day here. I mean, we're here on the farm and the winds are over 30 miles an hour. It's pretty warm actually. I mean, it's probably 40, 45 degrees. So we didn't expect this to be difficult at all. You see I've got my big coveralls on, but the wind is just nasty. We're wanting to try out these new Edge Tamers. These are bolt-on Edge Tamers. They're not the style that we've used that just slide on and clamp down. These are 6-inch wide bolt-on Edge Tamers. I think they call them the double Edge Tamers. This is on a Case 580 backhoe. Now, we kind of done things in the wrong order, Tom. Why didn't we get this in the right order? We used the land plane and we've kind of raked up this rock. So we've got loose rock on top.
We like to do things the hard way.
Yeah, I think so. So we'll check to see whether these things work, and well, I think they will. Let's try it. That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, a little bit of this we had left and we didn't plow. He didn't have any issue whatsoever with that, where we hadn't used the land plane at all. This was really good. Let's see him try it again. I figured you'd have something wise to say.
Well, is there any rock in the bucket?
No. There's no rock in the bucket.
Is there anything left to say? They did their job, right?
Yeah, they did their job. Now my question to you is, can you do that without them?
No, absolutely not.
Let's try it.
Uh-oh.
You're going to be put on the spot, man.
If I have the bucket rolled back a little bit, I might be able to, but then
you're going to not going to get the snow. Well, let's take them off and see how you can do.
All right.
Now, Randall, this is your primary snow removal vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So we don't get a lot of snow here.
Right. But enough that sometimes you need to move it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you wouldn't try to remove an inch or two. You're just going to wait till
you can't get through it with vehicles would be when we would move it.
It's not really about getting the last inch off of the driveway. It's about getting the drifts out of the way, and I think these are going to help.
I think so.
Christy, you have quite the job.
Yeah, it's cold this morning.
Yeah, it's miserable.
Yeah.
It's not a good day for a TTWT camera person.
I think I'm going back in the house.
We're going to remove them now. The head of the bolt here is set up so that it's not going to turn. The head of the bolt is exactly the same width as the slot. So while Randall loosens it, we don't have to worry about the head of that bolt turning. That's a pretty nifty design. Good job, R2. These are not hard to take off at all. The only problem was originally putting them on, the other bolts were rusted because it had been a while, so the first time is not going to be easy. He was definitely putting the most stress on the front end. In other words, it's not like he had the bucket tipped back. You can tell by where the paint's already rubbed off. So it wasn't like he was cheating by rolling his bucket back. I really think these things performed really well on this truck. Okay, so this is the real test. He's going to try to repeat the process without the Edge Tamers. Now, what he's doing here, yeah, he's not picking up any rock, but he's leaving 3 inches.
I didn't get near as close to the ground as I would have, would I?
No, I think...
and by the time it started riding up the snow, then you'd have been plumb out on top.
Yeah, and you also had your dad coaching you here to raise it up and let it down.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have that because he wouldn't be waiting around in the snow to tell you that.
Yeah, and a bucket level indicator is just not quite enough to tell you that level of detail as to whether you're digging in right now or not.
And right now, all we got's return to level, and it's not quite exact because our level indicator's been lost in the brush.
Folks, we've shown you the double wide bolt-on Edge Tamers without any snow, and today we're fortunate enough to be here on the farm when we have some decent snow. So Molly and I are gonna watch along with you guys as we take a look at these Edge Tamers in action. Tom, this is a Case 580 Super M, right?
Yes, sir. Series 2.
Now, how much snow did you get?
We had 4-inch snow, and then we got another 9 to 10-inch snow.
Okay, so
We've got
really didn't have much melting in between.
not a lot. No, it's been very kind of like wintertime here. It's been pretty chilly.
You didn't clear the 4-inch snow really at all?
No, we really didn't bother. The 4-inch snow was just a real light, didn't drift or anything, and it had no trouble getting around through it. This other snow was a little bigger and drifted a lot more.
We've talked before how on a rural area, you're really not trying to get all the snow off. You just want to have...
We just want to get so you get through it.
Yeah.
You don't...
As long as you can get a truck through it, it's
Right.
not really a concern.
Right.
Well, I can see your Edge Tamers are shiny on the bottom.
Yeah. He's been out across, even pushed snow across the yard, and really hadn't had any issue of scalping at all. Really doing what they're good for here.
We showed these Edge Tamers in this very same location. You know, you can't see them when the snow's on. I don't actually know which way is best for you guys. Actually seeing them work, or...
Now you can...
You might be able to see the ribs right here, Christy, where the Edge Tamers run. I hope the viewers can see that. It's hard to see the contrast. Everything's so white. Sorry about the sunglasses, guys. It was just too bright for me. Now see, he's really aggressive here. I mean, it's probably 6 inches up at the back. But those Tamers are doing a great job. Here, I'm gonna get that on camera. I guess what I'm realizing is that it's a lot more forgiving when the snow is on than when it wasn't on.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
You
yeah.
know, it's a real challenge to make it push along.
And
on
also
those
we
loose
had
surfaces.
these are good situation. The ground pretty hard before it snowed this time, and
Yeah, okay.
which is unusual for here. And we got a good. Come on, Molly.
You guys just don't get a lot of snow.
No,
so
we don't even.
It doesn't really make sense for you to get like a big snow push box or
No, not really. We don't
dedicated
have
angle blade or
right.
whatever.
I do. An angle blade really be nice.
Yeah, we
Even-
need to find you one of those sometime.
Even if we had a blade just to put on the back of a tractor, be nice. They're so doggone high, expensive.
But I think that's the point of these Edge Tamers is they're not expensive.
They really help you do what you're trying to do with them. It's just really hard to get the snow off and not scalp and scrape and then end up with a pile of rock and where you don't want it.
Yeah, rock and sod and everything else.
It just, that's always been an issue with whatever we've had to use for what little we do.
What do you think? Are you able to push what you need to push, and you have any trouble gouging in?
Not having much trouble at all gouging in, except for where there's a hump or something that's
Yeah.
not normal.
What you're digging out there, you probably have driven over that first 4-inch snow, right?
Oh, driven several trips over it, yeah.
So it was kind of a snowpack that was already there.
Right.
Really, you can see right here, the only thing that's hitting the ground is the Tamers themselves. It leaves about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch of snow.
They don't get along real well trying to turn.
Tom, I believe it's probably been close to 10 years since we've had this much snow up in central Indiana.
Well, it's been a while since we've had a good bit of snow. Can't really remember the year.
You were up at my house one year. You had the snowblower. We got the snowblower out there.
Yeah, that was fun. I was glad that I got to watch you use it instead of have to use it. But it worked pretty good being self-propelled. That worked pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine. It just wouldn't be very useful on this much property as much as you got.
Well, but it worked great for a short driveway. Dad always liked to push snow. You know,
Yeah, he loved to push
He
snow.
always liked to
He
push
pushed snow with the Oliver 1950 a
Yeah,
lot.
and they'd just freeze to death, and he stayed right there hooked up and pushed snow.
It's hard to know how aggressive to be with it, because that return to dig is all we have for level indicator.
Yeah. But it seemed to me like, from what I could see, you could be pretty aggressive with it. Really.
Yeah, I can stand her up a little more here for.
Yeah, just for the sake of the camera. It's not willing to go in.
No, I think that may raise the cutting edge a little bit too, doing that. That quite that aggressive, but hard to tell exactly where to be.
Well, one thing I noticed is that it's a lot more forgiving on snow than it was just on rock.
For sure. You can get it down to bare grass here in front of us,
Yeah.
like over here.
Yeah.
You can get more snow off the grass, and maybe it's just the way it looks.
Well, I think it's because the grass has not been packed, right? I mean, it's not something you've driven over.
Right. I don't know whether the grass holds the snow up off the ground anymore or not, or maybe it just lets the Edge Tamers may let the bucket a little lower in it, but you can. Seems like you always leave a little bit here on the driveway,
But not really so much on the grass.
right? A little bit hard to steer.
Well, you've probably got the bucket in float, and
Yeah.
that takes a lot of the weight off your front tires.
Yeah, and if I pick it up, then I waste my time. I just well stop and try again.
Yeah. That's not unique to this machine. That's about any snow removal equipment that you might have, other than, say, a snowblower. It wants to push you sideways a little bit if you only take half a swat.
It does, yeah. And the steering with the brakes is about all I got. And then if I get that wheel spinning, then I'm pretty well stopped. It's pretty deep here.
We'll go right by the camera. Now there's one disadvantage to these Edge Tamers, and that is it removes the ability to back drag. How about if we actually try a back drag up there right next to, say, the Kenworth up there? Just try to drag backwards and just see how good we can do with it. I don't think it'll be as bad as you think, especially if you don't go totally vertical with your back drag, right?
Well, my experience has been the more vertical, the better.
Okay, well, that's good to hear.
And they work a lot better here where it's not packed down. My experience hasn't been that positive where it was packed down.
Yeah.
That seems to have got most of the way to the ground there. I see grass up there.
Well, certainly the Edge Tamers are getting to the ground. What does that leave? 4 inches?
Probably, because I had the bucket stood up. Could try it with the bucket low or with it a little more level. Did that leave less, or did we just pack more down?
I think it left a little bit less. Now, can you use the heel of your bucket to back drag?
I've never really tried. It's never been a
See
thing.
if it'll curl that much.
Oh, yeah, but I just can't get.
Okay, let's try it.
That's all my. I can't
Let's
get
see
my
what it
wheels
looks
up.
like. That's not a bad show, Randall. That's what I do with a tooth bar. When I've got a tooth bar on the front of the loader, you know, you sacrifice the back drag capability in the summertime, and I
Right.
use the heel of my bucket to back drag it. Like you say, you can't get it down below the surface, but you can get down basically to the surface.
Yeah.
I'm taking one look at your bucket here. All the paint's gone off the backside, so somebody's used the heel of the bucket for a lot of things.
I think Granddad used the back of it. The worst part of pushing with a bucket is you can't keep the snow in front of you.
It wants to hop out to the side.
It wants to go out both sides.
Yep.
With the blade, you can make it go out one side at least.
Yep, and that's the advantage of a snow push over a bucket, is you got a lot bigger wings on each side.
Okay.
Another advantage of a snow push over the bucket is you don't have to dump it at the end. You just pick it up.
Right.
Since there's no bottom on the snow push, it makes it faster to empty your pusher.
Well, I probably wouldn't have to dump this out either, but then there'd just be more rolling off to the side every time if I didn't dump
you
it.
essentially want to dump it off each time. Randall, one thing that I get questioned a lot about is which is best, a snow pusher or an angle blade? And my answer, I believe, don't believe I've answered this on video. If I have, I can't remember. I think an angle blade is best for a driveway, a long road
I bet
to
that's
work
right.
on. And I think a snow pusher is best for a parking lot,
Okay.
right, where you've got a big area and you've got to push all of it to one side, you know. And I
Right.
think a snow pusher works better for a lot. An angle blade works better for a driveway.
I bet that's right. I've never used either one, so I'm no help on that.
Now, we've been kind of focused on how these Edge Tamers are working throughout this episode. Sorry, we're really not trying to make that much of a sales pitch out of it. Rather, the Edge Tamer guys, R2 Manufacturing, Ryan and Rob, sent these to you guys. They're a prototype, or were a prototype. I think they're going to be product now.
Okay.
And this is actually the second style that they sent us. We tried a style probably close to a year ago now.
Maybe more.
And we set them on your bucket, and they just didn't fit very well, and so they came out with this, which is a totally different design. One of the differences between this and the regular Edge Tamer is this one doesn't have any top on it.
Right.
And that gives it a lot more flexibility. So that's kind of why we were focused on this, and I think they're ready to release them now. I think these
Sounds exciting.
These are 6 inches wide. I think they offer them in 3 and 4 and 6. And they're called bolt-on tamers. They're really not called Edge Tamers anymore for this.
Okay.
Edge Tamers are the ones that kind of clamp on.
Right.
So that's why we were focused on how they were working today. And you've been cleaning lots this week, right? Pretty good bit, right, Randall?
A decent amount.
I mean, do you find them a help?
Yeah, I think they do help. I think they keep you out of the ground and let you get closer to the ground without gouging than what I
Well,
could.
you couldn't have done this.
No,
at all.
not
And
without making a mistake.
really,
I mean, this
and-
just keeps you from getting in the ground.
Yeah. And
There's no sod up on the piles at all.
No.
And we've always
and
had
we've
sod
always
in the
had
past.
to scrape.
Piles of rock out in the yard after it thaws.
Yeah.
And
But as we were discussing, it's not the end-all snow solution. I mean, a big snow push
Oh,
would
it'd
be great.
Sure.
Or a big angle blade would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in a scenario where it's maybe 3-4 years between
Sure.
snowfalls that ever need to be removed, this is a pretty good solution.
I think it works well for what we're doing now. You know, there's applications where they wouldn't be desirable at all, but there are many where they are.
As far as fitment, these cutting edges are pretty standard, I think. This is a bolt-on cutting edge in addition to just the bolt-on tamers, right? So they're not really bolted directly to the bucket. They're bolted
Right.
to the cutting edge, which
Cutting
is
edge, yes.
replaceable.
Yes.
These 580 backhoes and a lot of these other more construction-oriented backhoes have removable cutting edges. So I think there's going to be a lot of compatibility here. Tom, Randall, I appreciate you guys doing some testing for us here.
it's been
Glad to
fun.
be able to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Been fun to play with.
Sure have. Yeah. I think they really work well.
EdgeTamer.com, R2Manufacturing.com, if you want to type all that out. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. Praise the Lord from the earth, you great sea creatures in all ocean depths, lightning and hail, snow and clouds, stormy winds that do his bidding, you mountains and all hills, fruit trees and all cedars.
What's going on here, Sunshine?
You trying to make a snow angel, Wally?
Yeah, I think she is.
on, babe. Come on, babe.
Come on.